Rhythm guitar mastery is all in the right hand, and in this lesson, I'm super excited to show you some of my favorite rhythm guitar right hand tricks. We're gonna lay it down right from the most basic point of how to hold a pick to get proper rhythm guitar tone, and we're gonna go all the way through to some advanced rhythm guitar techniques that the masters have shown us. So let's get right into this one, and the first place I want to start is right here, how to hold a pick. Now there are two big rules to holding a pick correctly. Now the first one is I don't want to see anybody doing this right here, and the problem that I'm showing here is I've got my middle finger on the pick as well. That's a big no-no. You got to have thumb and finger on the pick. A huge part of guitar tone is touch, right? 90% of tone comes from how you're touching the instrument. 10% is the gear you're playing, but 90% is how you're holding this pick right here. And this right here, how much give and take is on your pick, your pick's ability to move in your fingers. That's what gives you touch and tone right there. If your pick is just like this the whole time, not moving, everything you play is gonna sound really jagged and hard, right? And the other thing too with proper holding a pick is that a lot of emotion actually comes from holding a pick properly, believe it or not. A lot of like the A lot of that kind of strumming sounds so soulful because I'm doing variations on the volume, right? Some strums are loud and some are soft, right? And that gives this kind of emotion and soul to the strumming. So, and then again, that all comes from making sure you're not gripping this too tight and that you don't have another finger on there to get in the way. Now, my second pick technique is going to be to never use a thin pick. Now, what I mean by a thin pick is like 0.4 to 0.6 millimeter. Those picks only exist because beginner guitar players keep buying them, and these beginners haven't had enough time to work on their touch yet, right? They're gripping the pick super tightly. They're not getting any of that give back and forth on here, and that is making it seem like a thin pick is the option to sound better, when actually you can get all the sounds you can get with a thin pick with a thick pick and a whole lot more. You actually have control over it with a thick pick. So if you're using a 0.4 to 0.6 millimeter pick, take it, throw it across the room immediately. You need a bigger pick. So now that we've got some of the basics out of the way, let's take a look at some actual rhythm guitar techniques. And honestly, all you have to do in this lesson is master these techniques I'm about to show you, and your rhythm guitar playing is going to be on par with some of the greatest rhythm guitar players out there. So the first trick I want to show you guys here, I like to call the cowboy fade, and it sounds something like this. That right there, right? It's what I'm really doing here is I'm taking usually an upstroke, and I'm doing it right next to the bridge. Hear that? How that sounds so much different back there? Like if I strum over here, I get a lot more bass frequencies. When I go back here, it's like all trebly, right? I call it the cowboy fade because that's every Western movie transition. It always goes an E minor, and then we're on to the next scene, right? So I love the term cowboy fade for it, but that's a great thing to mix in with your strumming. Doesn't necessarily have to be an upstroke, but it has to be a strum next to the bridge, and I find the upstrokes do sound a little bit sweeter. One of my favorite examples of this in the real world is Breathe by Pink Floyd. It goes like this. Right? And he gets all these beautiful variations just by strumming over here or strumming back there. So again, it sounds sweetest on an upstroke, but start changing where you're strumming. Every once in a while, if you want a nice trebly strum, right, just adds a little bit of color to your playing. I also find this is a fantastic chord to end a song on. If you right, feels resolved and finished right there. So that's my first trick for you guys. That's the cowboy fade. Now my second trick for you guys is one I like to call the slow strum, and it's exactly what it sounds like. So if I'm taking a regular strum pattern here over a G chord, the slow strum, and the idea of the slow strum is I'm going to take one of these strums and I'm going to make it a lot slower. Not so slow that I lose the beat of the song, but we're going to slow it way down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on the second downstroke of the pattern. So we'll start off with this. Here's regular. Here's the slow strum. Right? Right, I'm still going down, down, up, down, up. right? It's such a cool way to just color up a strum pattern you already know. I found people were doing this a lot back in the day, where those... Right, you get a real kind of like 50s or 60s kind of guitar sound by doing that. So it really works for any stroke in the strum pattern, but like I said, the second is definitely the money strum for that slow strum. And you just gotta make sure you don't go up, down, up, and lose the beat of the song. That's the one rule. It has to be slow, but not too slow. Give it a try. The third trick is palm muting, and we're gonna go a couple layers into this one here. The most common way of using palm muting is actually when songwriters, what they'll often do is they'll take one chord progression, oftentimes done with power chords, and they'll do it as palm muted for the verse of the song, and then they'll play the same chords for the chorus, but they'll unpalm mute it, so it sounds bigger for the chorus. Something like this. If I take these power chords, I palm mute, I take those same chords, strum them normal, right, back to palm. I'm playing the same thing with my left hand, but this right hand trick is so powerful, it could completely change the vibe of the song. So, like I said, if you're a songwriter, you can write one song with the same 4 or 3 chords the whole time. Just make the verse palm muted and the chorus strummed, and it'll sound different enough. Now, if you look at the technical side of what's going on here, all I'm doing is I'm laying this part of my hand right here on the strings, right where the strings meet the bridge. And this is the test to get it. Put your hand up here, start muting so it sounds like this. Notice it's not coming through, right? Everything's muted. Now I'm muting with my palm on the strings. I'm gonna move it slowly back towards the bridge until I hear notes. Now they sound like notes. See, now I've gone too far, because now it sounds like normal strumming, but go back again. That right there, that's what we're looking for. So that's the palm muting. Now, in the basic sense is what I was saying earlier, where you take a 4-chord song and you just play the same chords palm muted or unpalm muted. But this one can go a little bit deeper as well, actually. Guys like Tom Petty pulled this one out on the beginning of Last Dance with Mary Jane, a little bit of a more subtle way. Sounds kind of like this. And this is kind of the more subtle form of palm muting here. And essentially what's going on is I've got my palm mute here just on the 3 big strings. My treble strings are still coming through totally fine. So that's, if I strum like an A minor, it's kind of like the bass couple strings are palm muted, the treble aren't. Right? So the bass kind of gets muffled a little bit here. And this is also pretty loose. Like when you're doing this, you can kind of almost strum here a little bit. See, I'm not locked in like I was when I was playing the punk rock kind of stuff here. I'm moving a little bit, but I'm still on the deck, touching at least the big couple strings here. So I find a good way to get into this one is to take a normal strum pattern. Down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up. And this is the sound we're going for right here. It's kind of half muted. You can hear the high strings, but the low ones they're coming through, but they're not sustaining, right? So that's the more kind of advanced palm muting and the subtle stuff. You're gonna see that a lot in advanced acoustic playing, so check it out. Tip number 4 is slap strumming, and this is the way that you're gonna turn you into 2 musicians, a guitarist and a percussionist. Check it out. That sounds like there's a percussion player doing some slaps on some kind of drum behind me there, right? And that's the beauty of the slap strum. You can kind of accompany yourself even though you're one person. It sounds crazy, but it's possible. So what we're doing with the slap strum here is it's always going to replace a downstroke in a strum pattern. And it's kind of a combination of doing a downstroke normally, but you got to spin your wrist a little bit, kind of like a palm mute, so that you don't strum and they all ring, but you strum kind of like a palm mute, like that. So the strings are muted by the side of my hand here. This sound, again, not back where a palm mute would be, we're up muting the strings here. I'm gonna come in and kind of strum and mute at the same time with a downstroke. And this definitely does take a bit of practice. I'm making it look real easy right now, right? But notice how none of my strings are coming through, right? It's just chick, I'm not getting... So something like that. You want it to be quiet like this. And then you're going to use it to just replace any downstroke in a pattern. But oftentimes on beat 2 and beat 4, this sounds best. So if that's if I'm doing a regular down, down, up, down, up pattern, replace the second downstroke and the final downstroke. Down, slap, up, slap, up, down, slap, up. Another great way to get into this one is to just go down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, and just replace every downstroke with a slap. Actually sounds pretty musical as well. And like I said, this one may take you a while, but it is so worth it. So many times when I play with people, the moment I start doing that, they're like, oh, what is that? Do that. That sounds amazing, right? Everybody loves a good slap strum, so give it a try. Tip number 5 is going to be a study on Nile Rodgers, who and a lot of people consider to be the greatest rhythm guitarist of all time. This dude just brought a whole new flavor to the world of rhythm guitar. And one of the things I loved about what he did is he'd hold a big 6-string chord like his A minor bar chord here, but he wouldn't just, go like that and strum right through all 6 strings. He'd kind of target little small groups of 3 strings or maybe 4 strings, but it's small groups, and he gets this cool like. It just has this awesome sound. It's like 2 guitars dueling. You've got like a bass on the bottom and a treble on the top, and he's never strumming right through all of them. So this is a great technique to do. Works when you're playing open chords as well, even like on a regular strum pattern. Just try targeting where you're strumming. Make the downstrokes on the bass string and make upstrokes on the treble strings. And even with a subtle strum pattern, it sounds cool, right? It's not quite as obvious as some other things, but it's definitely one of those subtle things that will elevate your playing a lot. Now, one of my favorite grooves that I like to do in this kind of style is what I like to think of as the purple haze groove. So if I hold let's do an E minor, your open E minor, 6-string chord, and you're gonna do 3 downstrokes. The first 2 are gonna be just on the bass strings. The third one is gonna be on the treble. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, some of that. A little bit of a purple haze groove to it. I love that. That's the first one to get into. Low, low, high, low, low, high, low, low, high. Your rhythm guitar playing is going to get so much more interesting by giving that a try. Now, my final trick for you guys on rhythm guitar is to ditch the pick. Go fingerstyle. And you can actually keep strumming with fingerstyle as well. This is a thing a lot of people don't realize, actually. But if you try like this, instead of just, pretending you're holding a pick, try going like this. For a downstroke, flick your fingers down. Try to have them all land at a sort of similar time, and that's really these 3 fingers for me, index, middle, and ring, but this is pretty open. You can do 2 fingers, 1 finger, but either way, downstroke with your fingernails. Now, an upstroke you're gonna do with your thumb, actually. Your thumbnail specifically. So I get downstroke, upstroke, downstroke, upstroke. You see my wrist is still going the motion, but my fingers are going flick down, flick up. Right, and it's just got a slightly different sound, right? If you start, instead of just strumming them all once, you kind of do a little flick through them, right? Down, down, up, down, up. Up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. And that's a flick through instead of a regular strum, right? That's a totally different sound than using a pick, right? And another variation you can do with this one is instead of the first downstroke of the strum pattern being your flick down, use your thumb to get the bass note of the chord. So if I'm on this G chord, your thumb's gonna hit the E string, and then I flick down. Bass, down, up, down, bass, down, up, down, bass. So I've just replaced the first downstroke with that. down, bass. Get some really, really nice sounds with your fingers. And like I said, that's a whole universe, but if you've never played around with fingerstyle for rhythm guitar, try that first. And for sticking around to the end of this call, I've got an awesome gift for you. I'm talking about this book right here. This lesson is called How to Instantly Solo in Any Key, and it'll definitely get you having fun soloing on the guitar. Sometimes as a guitarist, your job is to play rhythm, sometimes it's to play lead. If you're struggling with the lead, definitely want to check this out. The first thing that this book is going to teach you is how to identify any key in record time on the guitar, and then it's going to give you a simple formula that's going to give you the ability to solo in any key and any style. And it's 100% yours and it's 100% free, so make sure you click right here now to get this one. You'll also find it in the description of this video. Guitar is a very quickly rewarding instrument, and it's lessons like these that are going to get you soloing and having fun without getting bogged down in the world of theory, so check it out.